Good morning and welcome to another Ministry Minute with Pastor T. Look here, this morning I'm talking about when the Lord takes his time. I am in the New Living Translation Bible. I am in the book of John chapter 11, starting at verse 1, and it reads, a man named Lazarus was sick. He lived in Bethany with his sisters, Mary and Martha. This is the Mary who later poured the expensive perfume on the Lord's feet and wiped them with her hair. Her brother Lazarus was sick. So the two sisters sent a message to Jesus telling him, Lord, your dear friend is very sick. But when Jesus heard about it, he said, Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God, so that the Son of God will receive glory from this. So although Jesus loved Martha and Mary and Lazarus, he stayed where he was for the next 2 days. Amen. Look here. Have you ever prayed to God? You were in a life and death situation and you know the Lord loves you and you know that he got your prayer. And he stayed 2 more days where he was at. He didn't pay you no mind. He kept doing what he was doing. He didn't come see about you right away. When the Lord takes his time. Now, Mary and Martha, they brother sick. And if Jesus would have showed up for anybody, surely he would have showed up for Mary and Martha and Lazarus, because the Bible declares, although he loved them, he really loved them. And they said, look here, your dear friend, the one you love, God, he's sick. And Jesus stayed there. What do you do when the Lord takes his time and you running out of time? What do you do when the Lord takes his time and you like, God, they told me you was on the main line and I could call you up and tell you what I want. And the Lord allows your situation to crumble. And the Lord allows he said that Lazarus' sickness was not unto death. And we know that Lazarus died and stayed in the grave for 4 days. But this is what you do. Although Mary and Martha were peeved with the Lord, when they heard that Jesus was finally coming, Martha didn't wait for him to get to the house. She ran out to him, but she still reverenced and she respected the Lord. She said, Lord, if you would have been here, my brother wouldn't have died. I'm peeved with you, but Lord, I'm going to respect you. I know who you are. I know the power that you have. But if you would have been here, my brother would not have died. And sometimes we get like that. We get frustrated with the Lord. And although we get frustrated with him, we better still recognize who he is and say, Lord, I depended on you. Lord, I counted on you. But we got to understand what the text says. The text says when Jesus heard about it, he said, it happened for the glory of God, so that the Son of God will receive glory. When the Lord allows things to go contrary to what we think they should go, it's so that he could get the glory out of the situation. It's so that we don't have the testimony that we did it ourselves. We'll only have the testimony, yes, it did fall, it did crack, it did crumble, but God, it didn't look good, it wasn't good, it did mess up, it did blow up, but God, they did die, and sometimes God will bring some folk back to life, and sometimes we go bury them in the grave. But we still have to have the testimony that God get the glory out of it all. And so when the Lord takes his time, that's not a reason for us to be upset. That's not a reason for us to disrespect God. That's not a reason for us to go out and sin and willfully sin and crucify him afresh again on the cross. That's a reason for us to wait for him to still come see about us, because he'll show up in his time. And just because we're in an emergency situation, that don't mean it's an emergency for the Lord. Amen. God bless you. I hope you've enjoyed this ministry minute, and if it be the Lord's will, I'll be back on tomorrow. You have yourself a blessed day.